Hi, this is Linda West with Living Live, and today I'm honored to present to you Brigadier General retired Marta Carcana. Now, she started off in nursing and then got into the military, and I'm going to have her tell her story, and it's really a fascinating story. And the reason I wanted to bring her on, especially today, because today is Monday, right? Motivation Monday. Now, when you are a woman, you're the very first general in the National Guard. You know, there's a lot of motivation there that goes into becoming that. So I want to talk to Marta about that and see how she can help motivate some of us to do things that maybe we don't think we can do. So Marta, welcome to the show. I'm really excited to have you. How are you doing today?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm very honored to be here and to be able to speak to all those women out there that think they cannot make it and tell them, yes, you can, because I did it. You could do it.
Well, let me ask you, first question I have is when you went into the military, did you have any inkling in your mind, any thoughts at all that you would ever become a general?
No, Linda. I went into the military in 1986 because I was moving back to Puerto Rico after going there in 1972 with my mother and my brothers and making a life there and becoming a nurse. And I needed some part-time that would pay while I came here and I settled. And I always wanted to serve. It was my wish to serve, but I was already 30. And then I was going into the military at 30 years of age. It's not, people go in when they're 17, 18. So I had to compete with people 17, 18. So being a nurse, I received a direct commission from the U.S. Army for being a nurse. So, and I always said, my recruiter said how much I could obtain from the military. And I said, it's okay. If I become, if I could retire as a captain or as a major, I am done. I do 20 years and I'll be gone. And I'll have a retirement pay at age 60. So I never visualized myself as a general officer, never.
So at what point, though, did you say, you know what, I'm going to go for it? Why not? Or whatever came to your mind. What point was that?
Okay, what happens is that you grow into the profession of arms, because that's what the military is. It's a profession of arms. And they build you to believe in you. They give you the tools that you need to believe in yourself. You need the tools that you bring from home, obviously, and the ones that you've been cultivating. But then the military gives you that extra push. And every officer and every non-commissioned officer or enlisted that comes into the military, it's inspired by what's the next step. So I came in as a second lieutenant. First lieutenant, I make captain. Then you make captain, you want to be a major. And you, to stay in the military, you go to all the schools. So you go to captain's career school, you go to command and general staff, and then comes war college. And only the people that are going to become generals go to war college. So I applied for war college. And I did not get a resident quota. So I had to do it online. It's 2 years of online writings. And you go for the summers, you go into Carlisle University in Pennsylvania. And only the very few make it. So I was told, what are you going to go to war college for? You're not going to become a general. I said, I want to have it anyway, because it's the last school I have to go to. So somewhere along the line, the Army, the service got me into going for it. And I knew I could make it. I knew you want more. Every day you want more. You get some, you get more. You want more.
Well, I think it's just like that with just about anything in life, right? We get a little taste of something and then we're like, you know what, I want a little bit more of that, no matter what it is. And then you inspire yourself, or somebody around you inspires you to keep going. And, I want to talk about, because you're born and raised in Puerto Rico, is that correct?
I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I was here on the island until age 15. At age 16, my mother decided we were going to go to the States because my aunts were there, and my mother she was a single mom. Okay. So things were not going so well for us on the island. So my mother decided we were going to go to New York. So we traveled to New York City in Pan Am Airlines. Most people don't remember Pan Am.
Right, that's long gone, right?
And we just had one piece of luggage for the four of us. We lost that luggage. We lost the luggage. Oh my gosh. So we went and we stayed in my aunt's house. And my cousin, who's a nurse, and she's retired from the armed forces too, but at that time, she was not in the military. She got me into the nursing because I said it before, I wanted to be a doctor, but I had to become a nurse because I needed to help my mother with my brothers. You know, we were poor, so my mother needed me. I was my mother's partner and everything. You know, I needed to help her in the housework and with my brothers. So we went to New York City. I graduated from Eastern District High School in Brooklyn. I was an Arista member when I graduated 2 years after getting to the city. And I said, well, I made it through high school in New York, just coming from Puerto Rico. I'm going to go into college. I was accepted into New York City Community College. There was like almost 200 of us that wanted to go into the nursing program. And we had that the test, the National League of Nursing test. And just a few of us made it. It's like 40 of us went into the program. So it was like every time the group was smaller. And then graduated from New York City Community College. And I made my state boards on the first try. That was like, wow, I'm a nurse. And I went to work for New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation at a public hospital in New York. And there I learned a lot. I learned a lot about nursing, which was, you know, a passion. By now it was my passion. And I learned a lot about the suffering that people go through, not just sickness, not just illness, but what people go through in life to make it. Because it was very poor neighborhood, and but I learned a lot.
Well, let me ask you a question. So your mother was a single mother, and how would you say that maybe played in your role of, you know, being a strong woman and, you know, putting yourself out there into, you know, positions that maybe some people might say, oh, you're never going to make it as a general. Like you said, some people are like, well, you're not going to be a general. Did you have people saying you're not going to make it as a general? Did you have people going against you where you would say, no, I'm doing this. How did that play out?
Well, going back to my mother was really strict. And my mother was, I mean, she was a single mother. She had to do a good job. She had myself and my two brothers. So she made sure that we did what she said we were, as we were told, not as we wanted. So my mother said, all I want from you is you have to go to school. You have to make it in life. And I don't want you to go through the same problems I went through. So, if we wanted to do anything, my mother would help us along. And I knew that sometimes I did stuff because I didn't want people thinking bad about my mother or that my mother failed. I didn't want to fail my mother because I didn't want people to think that she failed with us. So I think that pushed me a lot. That inspired me. I knew I had to make it because I didn't want my mother to not make it. So it was a quest of both of us in my person. In the military, and I once said, I'm not a person to believe that this is because I'm a woman or that doesn't happen because it's a man's world. But when my governor, Honorable Alejandro Garcia Padilla, called me in 2015 to be the Adjutant General of Puerto Rico, I was already competing at the U.S. Senate to become a general officer.
Okay.
And that wasn't bad with the males and the other females around me. That was okay. If I wanted to be a general, I could go. They believed that I was not going to make it. But when he nominated me to be the adjutant general, and the adjutant general is the top person, and the adjutant general advises the governor on military issues, that's difficult for some people to swallow. Right. So a lot of people put a lot of stones so I wouldn't make it. As a matter of fact, I was nominated by my governor, and right away I had an inspector general complaint. And that's anonymous. That's anonymous, and you have to prove that you're innocent. It's not the other way around. This time they don't have to prove that you're guilty. They just have to say it. So for 9 months, the inspector general conducted an investigation on me. So that held my rank back from the Senate. They put it on hold until that was clear.
Okay.
But it cleared, thank God, because I knew there was nothing wrong with me, nothing wrong with my record, nothing wrong with my doing. I've always been a person of law and order, and I always been fair to my subordinates, to my superiors, to my peers. So I knew I was going to be okay, but it takes time. It's a process.
9 months, that's a long time.
Yeah, and 9 months. And a lot of people, a lot of my, of the military in the Puerto Rico Guard, they say, but she's only a nurse. How can she be the leader for infantrymen, artillery, logistics? She's a nurse. All they do, they play with Band-Aids.
Oh my gosh.
They used to go with stuff like that. Oh, how can a nurse do this? How can a nurse? And they don't know that the adjutant general is really, it's an administration. You're the administrator. You're the CEO of the agency. You're the head of that agency for the governor. And you just have to put in practice everything that you learn in the military. They're not going to give me a star because I'm the best one to march or the best one to shoot. They're gonna make me a general because I have all the qualities that it takes to be a general officer.
Well, and that begs a great question. First, let's say hi to everybody. So we have Sylvia Cosette is on here, and Maria, Michael, your son, Einar. Did I say that right? And then let's see. So we have Sylvia says, "Wow, she is only a powerful, super powerful woman, only a nurse. I mean, come on. Hello." But you know what, that actually kind of begs the question for me. When you made it, you're now commissioned as a general, and how does that play out for your role? Because now you're bringing a different mindset. Women do think differently than men. I mean, it's just we're, human, right? And so women do bring a different element to that kind of role. So what was that like for, let's say, the people under you? How long did it take for them to maybe, I don't know if I'm even asking the right question, but to have respect for you? Those people who were saying, well, she's only a nurse, did they ever come around and have respect for you? How did that all play out?
We're in the military. The way it works is that you get your marching orders and you march. So I believe that once I became a general and I was the head of the agency, everybody just came under that order from the governor, and obviously from the army. I mean, this is your general. She's here. Your governor wants her to be the boss, and I had cooperation from. And I don't say that everybody said I was just a nurse. Or not everybody said that I couldn't do it. It was the few, and the few are the ones that make us women hurt. Mm-hmm. Because those few that make you hurt, they do it, they're purposely doing it to you. They want you to stop doing it, because if I stop, then I would not stopping for me only. I was stopping for all those other women in the Puerto Rico National Guard and all those other women in the armed forces that are looking and saying, I want to be a general someday. Mm-hmm. And and that's my message. I say to the Puerto Rico National Guard at the time that when I was a general, the adjutant general for Puerto Rico, there was only 4 of us as tags. So it was Maryland, Alaska, Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So we were always odd among the other 51 general tags or adjutant generals at the different meetings, but we were never treated different. But in your state, it's like being home. They're comfortable with you. And I have to say, only a few looked at me like she's only a nurse. She's not going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
How is it going to be? But in life, you have to surround yourself with the people that know, because you're not going to know it all. You need to surround yourself. You have to be humble about who you are. You need to let people teach you, and you need to learn every day. So that was my mindset. And when I came in, I try again, Linda, being fair to everyone, doing the right stuff every day, trying to be fair to everybody, trying to learn from the people that have done it before. So I looked at the people that have been former adjutant generals. There was always space in my office. I had an open door policy. I was very respectful of my training officer, my logisticians, my human resources. I heard and I learned a lot. I I was the adjutant general for 27 months, and I learned so much from everyone around me. And not only from the officers, I learned from the enlisted, from the non-commissioned officers. Mm-hmm. And I try listening to what people were saying, because when you believe that you have the answer to everything, that's when everything starts going wrong.
Right. That's so true. Well, so you had a few people who might not have said the nicest things maybe, but how do you, in your mind, get that out of there? Or how do you turn that so that you can remain powerful instead of becoming powerless to things they might not believe in you? How do you personally make sure that you just put that aside so you can keep going and, do what you're doing?
Well, for one, and I have to say, don't show your weak side in front of everybody, but be weak when you need to be. It's not, if I lost a soldier during the war and I had to shed a few tears, I would do it. But if I was in front of a group and I had to be forceful about what I wanted, I would be forceful what I wanted, and I would be firm. And I was firm in my decisions, and I made sure that I didn't have to go back. That going forward and backward, forward, back and forth, that gives people the idea that you don't know what you're doing. So when making a decision, just you made it, stick to it. Unless it's going to cost somebody, and unless you're going to hurt somebody or somebody's going to die because of that decision you made. But just surround yourself with the people that know what they're doing. Listen to them. Come to your own conclusions. And once you apply the concept, and once you make a decision, don't go back on your own words. Just stick to your decision and go forward.
Well, at what point would you maybe say, the decision I made was wrong? Or how would you handle that kind of situation?
You want me to to tell you an instance when that happened?
If something like that did happen, yeah. But if nothing like that happened, I'm just wondering, how would people say, you know what, I made the wrong decision. I got to, change it. How would you do that?
Well, I think that as long as you're clear with the people, why are you making this decision? Mm-hmm. If I had to go back on a decision I made, as long as you're open and people know where you're coming from, and people know that you're that your decisions are transparent, that you're not making up stuff
Right.
or lying. As long as you're truthful, I believe that people really join you, and the people that say, "Ah, she's not gonna make it," now they become part of that team that wants you to make it, because they're part of those. They're part of the team. They're part of the decision. They're part of the. I always believe that people must be part of that decision-making process, and they teach us to bring people into the decision-making process. But for some people, it's really hard to do that. To say, I can't do it on my own. I need you to help me make up my mind, or let's put this plan together, and it's our decision, our plan. Let's move forward with it. So making people part of it, then you won't feel bad if you have to go back, because you didn't make that decision in a vacuum, where you were responsible for every aspect of it. At the end of the day, the adjutant general is responsible for everything that happens. But if you have the right people around you, and you share your decisions and your thoughts, I believe that people help you at the end of the day.
Have you always been a good leader, or is that some skill that you learned later?
I believe that they say that you could make a leader, but I believe that you're born a leader. That's my philosophy. And always in school, I was like, my mother used to say, you have to be in everything that happens in school. Must you be in that show? Must you be in that play? Must you be this? Do you have to be like in the talent show? Do you have to do that? And as I grew up, I was the same. When I became in high school, I was the same. In college, I was the same. And when I became a nurse, I was always like, I would be like team leader. I was always like in supervisory roles. I did a lot of supervisory roles. I was always part of, let's work with the standing operating procedures. So there, Marta went there because I needed to know, because I needed to do, and that got me in trouble sometimes, because I always open my mouth. If I didn't like something, I would not be quiet. I had to say it. So I think that I was born with some skills, so I was born with the desire, and then you start forming yourself, obviously, because then it comes a time when you can't be in every other event. You have to pick and choose your battles, but you're born with some skills, and you develop the rest of the skills as time goes by.
Well, that's awesome. I love that, because you were mentioning about basically the indecision, changing your mind, change your mind. As an entrepreneur, I've gone through that a lot this last few years. It's like I'm trying to figure out my way. And so I make decisions, and I have to retract, and then I make decisions. Like I'm just trying to figure all this stuff out as I go. But making the decision is important, of course, and then just doing it, right? Have you ever had any fears related to any of the stuff that you've done?
Like I said about the decision making, I'm not one to make decisions on the spur of the moment either. I go in my thoughts, I go back and forth a lot, and I deal with myself, and I reassure myself. And yes, you do. As in the military, or I should speak about when I was attacked, you make a lot of decisions that you have to make decisions that impact people's life. Mm-hmm. So you get scared. One sample is every 6 months you have to have a retention board. So when the board comes to you with the results, you either take the results, or you change and say, no, I don't like how this board went, go back. And then sometimes you say, okay, do I really get rid of these people? Am I making the right decision? Are these the right people to stay and the right people to go? Because you don't know how you're going to impact the soldier's life. So you're making a decision that it's not only going to impact you, but you're going to impact the soldiers or the airmen's or the Marines family, the person and the family, because in this age of and as the economy that we're living, some people only have a part-time, and sometimes the part-time is just the National Guard. And you say, am I going to take probably the only income that they have from them? Am I doing this right? So the decisions that you make every day, yeah, I believe that you're always afraid of making that decision. It's just of the outcome.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about the, the level of, people's lives you're dealing with, in that position on a daily basis, so thank you so much for your service. And so what are you working on next?
Well, right now, since I retired March of last year, and I have joined Vets EDU to serve veterans, and to our idea is to go across the nation. I have joined Mr. Mike Aharoni and with Vets EDU. He comes out of New York, and I work from Puerto Rico, and then we meet someplace in the nation, and we're visiting the states, trying to educate veterans on the benefits that they earn and the hard-earned benefits, right? Especially on home buying. And I have made contacts with other people that also serve veterans, and trying to give to the veterans, because a veteran is that person that once signed that blank check saying, I will give my life for you. I'm here to fight for you. I'll give my life. I'll put on this uniform. You stay home, be safe, sleep safe. I'm going out there. And we want to give back to the veterans. They don't teach us to be veterans. They teach us to be soldiers, to be there for 30 years or 31 years like I was. And the next day, okay, and now I'm a veteran. What am I supposed to do? Go to the Veterans Hospital and ask for a medical appointment? No,
Right. Wow.
That's a lot of stuff that veterans need to know. They have well-earned benefits that the veterans should use. And we work on home buying or home selling. I'm part of the American Legion, and probably the American Legion, but there's 2.2 million veterans that now belong to the American Legion, and they have representation right next to the President of the United States, and they work for the veterans' rights. So I'm part of them. I just had a meeting on Saturday, and what we do is we defend veterans' rights. We help veterans in need. We visit the ones that are sick. We visit the ones that passed and their families, and give their families a hand. And I encourage every veteran out there, if you have 1 day of active duty, you could become a Legionnaire. And it's very satisfying. Very, very satisfying.
Well, that's good to know, because my husband is a veteran. He served in Vietnam, and I'll have him check into that. I didn't know about the American Legion, so I'll make sure that we check into that.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, I know we can have people contact you by going to your email, martacarcana@gmail.com. Are you guys looking for people to help with the organizations that you're working with?
Well, if you have a group of veterans out there, or active duty soldiers, regardless of their origin of service, and you want us to brief them on their benefits, we will visit, and we'll be part of whatever activities. We don't want to be the sole source to go there, but if you have activities, if anyone out there have activities for veterans, we are willing to travel and go and brief them on their benefits. And if a veteran decides to sell or buy a house, We take them from the day they decide to do that to the day they get the keys or to the day they close the whomever. At no cost to the veteran. This is it's a non-for-profit organization.
Okay.
You
Okay,
want to go and serve? I want to keep on serving. I don't know. I think I could still do it for a couple more years.
oh, good, good. You got a lot more years in you, that's for sure.
Sure.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being here. And I love what you've done, and you've paved the way, for other women to follow in your footsteps, and, being that first to do something like that, because it's been, hundreds of years that we've had our military forces, and to be the very first general. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. And I'm honored to have you on the show. And I love what you're doing, continuing your work, helping the veterans. And I never even thought about that. Like, there's no veteran school while you're in the military, right? Like, when you get out, you're going to be doing all these things. So you guys, you're doing a great work. I really, really appreciate it. And thanks for being here. And you have an amazing, amazing day. And I know it's a little bit warm in Puerto Rico today, but you go hop in the water.
Degrees. It's too hot now. Yeah, but thank you for having me, and for all of you out there, thank you. I am more than honored. It's an honor for me to have served in the military and to have become the first Puerto Rican to become a general officer. That was a great gift from God, and I am sure I open doors for all of those that come after me. And what I want every female out there is, if you're in a position of power, don't forget about the ones that are coming behind you. Just grab them and pull them. Don't leave them. Don't leave them there. Pull them with you, because at the end, the top is lonely. But if you pull those that come behind you, the top is not going to be that lonely. It's going to be good for everyone. So thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I love being able to do this. Thank you.
And that's great. That's great advice for everybody, right? No matter what position you're going into, is to, pull those people along with you, because you don't want to be lonely wherever you are. Right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Marta. I don't know if I call you General or if I call you Martez. I'll call you Marta.
You call me Marta. Call me Marta. Thank you, Linda.
And I hope to see you in September. I hope to see you in September.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, have a great day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.